So we are almost done with the Euro 2024 campaign, with the quarterfinals coming up this weekend. And I must say, it has kind of been an underwhelming competition from the bigger teams from whom I've expected to come out guns blazing. On the bright side though, Euro 2024 has been full of surprises, with underdog teams like Georgia, Slovakia and Turkey stealing the show. Their passion and unexpected brilliance have added a thrilling edge to the tournament, but amongst all the excitement, there has been a glaring question, and we must address the elephant in the room, or rather me hopping on the hate bandwagon, and that is, what's wrong with England? I may not live in the UK, but ever since I can remember, I've always supported England in major international competitions, mainly because they've always had my favourite players, being a United fan. But for those who are familiar with England's football history, their current performances is unfortunately not shocking. The team appears flat, energyless and uninspired, missing the creative spark necessary to win major competitions. This isn't a new phenomenon. If you recall the Euro 2016 disaster against Iceland, or the heartbreaking World Cup semi-final exit in 2018, it's a recurring theme that begs the question, why can't England capitalize on their potential? And I guess that's a perfect segue to the issue number one, and that's the coaching and tactical approach of games. Even rival fans have noticed this issue. Reading through an article by the BBC, a French supporter summed it up perfectly. Boring and can be so much more. The England squad is worth millions, yet they seem to be devoid of ideas and creativity on the pitch. And a Dutch fan also echoed a similar sentiment, suggesting that with a more offensive approach, England can truly shine. In many ways, these fans are correct, and it can all be summed up in one word, and that's
Southgate.
When Gareth Southgate was appointed, I had a cautious optimism because he brought a young, cohesive squad together, a quality that the so-called golden generation lacked. However, good vibes alone don't win tournaments. Southgate and his staff struggled to set up a team with the right personnel and tactics. Well, what do I mean by this? So let's skip the round of 16 game for a second that just happened and use the match against Slovenia. For instance, England dominated possession but failed to capitalize on it. Spaces behind Slovenia's strikers were left unexploited, and key players like Declan Rice and Phil Foden were underutilized. This is a symptom of a deeper issue, which is an overly cautious approach that stifles the creativity and offensive potential. So I'd like to quickly turn our attention to a brilliant article by Sky Sports, where they highlighted several critical areas where Southgate must improve. And at number 1, it is to fix the attack. England only managed 2 shots on target in 120 minutes against Slovakia, of both which resulted in goals. This is simply not good enough for the team of their caliber. Looking at this graphic, Slovakia managed 3 shots on target during the game and registered a 2.15 expected goals, more than England's 1.52 XG. And we can also see England only had 38 touches in the opposition box and only 153 final third passes completion. With the players of England's caliber, these stats are just unacceptable, which takes us to another issue, and that's wasting possession. Despite having 63% of possession, much of it was spent in their own half, with defenders like Mark Guay and John Stones exchanging 64 passes between them. If we look at this graphic, it shows passing directness of all England players who primarily held the position against Slovakia, revealing a team-wide tendency to pass sideways and backwards. And the third issue is that they sit too deep. They have a tendency to sit so deep and protect leads, which has been detrimental to the squad. Their average starting distance at Euro 2024 is 42.4 meters, indicating a defensive posture that stifles their attacking potential. And a blatant criticism of the team this summer has been their tendency to retreat even further after grabbing the lead. As you can see from this graphic, Southgate's team has been on the front foot when trailing in games, but on the back foot when leading one goal, which is just crazy if you think about the players England have. But wait, before we carry on, if you want to see more from this brilliant article, you can find it in the link below, because I want to stir the pot a bit and segue to how I would set up England to play way better football. But again, this is my opinion, and if you have your own opinion, I would love to know what your takes are, so feel free to leave it in the comments below. So let's get straight into it. So my starting formation would be a 4-3-3. or a 4-1-2-2-1, depending on how you look at it. So if you look at this graphic, ignore the numbers and rather focus on the names of the 11. Maybe I should specify, this is how I would set up against Switzerland. So in goal, we have Pickford, which is box standard, there's no one really else. But then at centre back, I would do Stones or Konsa, because obviously Gay would be suspended. And at left back, I would go Kyle Walker and Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. And in the 6, it might be a little controversial, but I would have Declan Rice, because we all seem to forget that Declan Rice played as a 6 for West Ham and only develop as an 8 or a box-to-box at Arsenal due to their system. And then I would do a Jude Bellingham or Eze/Kobe. And I say this because I'd play either one of Eze or Kobe depending on the opposition, but against Switzerland I would generally go with Eze, even though I'm a huge fan of Kobe Manu and I do think he's got a great future in front of him. But I have been watching the Swiss a lot and I think Eze would be perfect in the midfield as an attacking option. And then for the front three, it could be controversial again, with Phil Foden on the right and Cole Palmer on the left. The reason why I go Cole Palmer on the left and instead of Bukayo Saka, I think in order for England to improve, they have to be ruthless. Bukayo Saka hasn't been bad, he's actually been one of the better players, but I do feel like he is a system player and the way Arsenal play just favours him. So for a little bit of more flair and let's say uncertainty, I would definitely go with Cole Palmer on the left, Phil Foden on the right. And playing like this, I think it gives the midfield the license to roam and dictate play, and I'd also ensure the fullbacks are more involved in the attack, providing width and those deadly crossing opportunities from Trent, because England's main issue is Harry Kane, their captain, their talisman. He needs better service surrounding him with fast and dynamic wingers. Like I've said, Foden and Palmer can create more goal-scoring opportunities, and in the midfield, the pairing of a defensive anchor being Declan Rice with his passing ability and a box-to-box with Jude Bellingham and Eze can have a balance of solidity and forward thrust. And when England are on the front foot, the setup should look like this in my opinion. As you can see, there's a high line with multiple passing options, some being through the lines, which England don't do right now, or that option of going wide and crossing the ball in to our forwards or switching play to the left winger or the right winger. And a defensive shape should be like this, with a higher line compacting and overloading the midfield whilst trying to be man-to-man. And lastly, if you go a goal ahead or behind, don't sit back and be passive. Go and get the equalizer or go kill the game, and then maybe consider a back five with a double pivot like they do currently. So England have the potential to be so much more than what we have seen so far. With the right adjustments, they can still make a significant impact in this tournament. Let's hope they rise to the occasion and show us the football we all know they are capable of. So what do you think? So how would you set up the England team? Leave it in the comments below and hopefully we can have a great discussion, and I'll see you in the next one.